All right, y'all. So, I had a little technical difficulty there, but we got it sorted out. So, you should be able to hear me on here. So, here's the situation. Right now, I got a $5 bonus, and I'm at the airport. The queue is barely moving. I've got a scheduled ride at 10:30 at the Hilton, so it's downtown area. But look at this. There is a streak zone here in the downtown area. So what I am going to try to do, instead of waiting here and twiddling my thumbs, I'm actually going to try to get out of here and head towards downtown. And that's actually probably why they only have surge going on at the airport, because they're trying to suck people in here. And I took someone here in an Uber about 15 minutes ago, but Lyft is packing it in here because I think they don't want people to be out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave Uber on. And part of my strategy is going to be, hey, if Uber wants to throw me an awesome trip, have at it. But also, if I get a trip that's going towards that streak zone, well, then all the merrier, because it's taking me closer to my goal. All I got to do, even if they don't give me a ride between now and, well, that's not true, because the scheduled ride's at 10:30. So I do need to get at least one ride in. But I just need to get into that zone or pick up somebody that is near that zone. So this is the scheduled ride. Let's look at this streak zone one more time. So this is where we're aiming for, is right here in this sort of uptown, downtown corridor. So if I see a ride that originates in that area, then I will head towards it. It's kind of like right in there, right in this area. So I will keep my eyes peeled for something. Yeah, look at that. And a surge. Sort of unusual to have them put a surge in there as well. You'd think the streak zone would be enough, but you never know. All right, turning right on Lemon. Lemon will take me straight into the heart. Right about where you see that $15 sign. That's about where I'm heading. The check mark. That is right on top of where Lemon Avenue. See, now they're throwing surge all over the place. I think they're starting to not want so many people in there. We're heading there. Get this. Get this money. So let's head towards there. Us driving like maniacs. Probably another Uber driver. Ooh, let me get my streak. Driving like a maniac down the road. We're almost there. We just need one ride, because if I can just do one ride from here, and then, as you can tell, I got that $14 one to the airport, but it's at 10:30. So as long as I get this streak started in this 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock window, as long as I get it in there, then one ride, then this can be the second or third ride of the streak. Now, see, I do not want that at all. First of all, that's not even good, and second of all, it does not help me in my streak. So that's how desperate that would have put me late for my reservation. So Lyft is willing to sacrifice this customer and lose that reservation, they're willing to do that to try to screw me. So they're going to be playing some funny business. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we are seconds away from entering that streak zone. Did you see that? They tried really hard to not get that. All right, so we heard the chimes. We are now in the streak zone. Okay, so we're now in the streak zone. And what we're going to do is I'm actually going to keep heading down Lemon. I'm going to go a little bit further into this zone. Because who knows? Maybe I get lucky. I doubt it, but maybe I get lucky and, do a bunch of shorties and still stay in the zone. I doubt that, especially this time of morning, but it's Saturday morning here in Dallas, and there are people up and about. I'm a little bit surprised at how much traffic there is, but I don't think Lyft can do me that solid. But we're just going to head into the heart of this, and we're going to camp out. Go through this light. All right, so we're in at $2. All right. So I think actually a good spot would be right over here on McKinney, right by this Q2. Then I got quick access to both McKinney and Cole. So actually, I'm not going to go to the QT, but look at that. We got a short hop, about 10 minutes at the most. So let's get out of this parking lot. Head on over. We're going to pick up Elizabeth. Elizabeth's going to be our first ride in this streak. So once I pick her up, take her to that destination. See, this is going to be a short ride, so it's not bad dollars to miles. And who knows? Maybe Elizabeth is awesome and she's going to throw me a tip. We'll see. Should have screenshotted that, but hey, screen recording, so all the same. So we're going to pick her up and then drop her off real quick. And when I do, I'm going to be, see, stuff like this happens. I forget to turn off Uber. Always remember to turn off your other stupid apps. Uber's been, not very good lately. Not very good. This is something that Lyft has been so much better for me this week. And I know that they got that new CEO, and he's been talking a big game about getting Lyft back on track and taking care of both customers and drivers. And for the first 2 months or so, it was a lot of talk and not a whole lot of action. But now I'm starting to see some of the fruits of their labor. Now, don't get me wrong. Lyft will try to screw you hard if they can get away with it. So you gotta be on your toes. You can't just leave it on auto set all the time. You gotta be thinking. But the opportunities are there. The scheduled rides are there. If you wake up early enough, the payouts on those scheduled rides are good. The streaks are there. The bonuses, the weekly the ride bonuses, I haven't really seen much of those, but at least streak bonuses, they're decent. So, I mean, Lyft's been bringing it. Lyft has been bringing it. So guarantee this is either a nurse, because we're heading into the Baylor Medical District. This is either a nurse or it's a crackhead. A nurse or a crackhead. Let's see which it is. You know, I'll be honest with you. Most of the people I pick up at hospitals are not the most pleasant, but some of the best people you will pick up will be in hospitals. So it's the tale of two rides. You will either have an amazing rider or you will have the worst rider when you pick up at a hospital. You know, because people are going through stuff. You know, who knows what they're going through. And a lot of people that end up at the hospital are, you know, obviously some sort of trauma or sickness or illness they're dealing with. So I get that. But then you deal with some of these people that, especially on Lyft and Uber, because these medical facilities will call Uber and Lyft to basically do the dirty work that a social worker or an ambulance should be taking care of. I mean, we're picking up psychotics and meth heads, people with ruptured spleens, and taking them to the emergency room or back home or back to their cave where they live. And you know, we really have no business. You know, I'm just a regular Uber driver. You know, I'm not a trained medical professional, let alone a psychiatrist. And you know, they got these sorts of people getting in our car. So we'll see what Elizabeth's up to. She's just going a short little hop, so we'll see. We shall see. All right. So that actually was not either of them. That was the 7-Eleven right next to the hospital. It was these two African people that have been living in the States for about 15 years from the Congo. They were super nice, and they were having car trouble. So I took them to the O'Reilly just down the street, and they said, hey, can you please give us a ride back? Because we're just heading right back. We're just picking up some oil, motor oil. And I said, sure. So I paused or made it my last ride, and they just gave me $10 to bring them back. $10 cash. Looks like they actually gave me 12. So they gave me $12, a little $2 tip. So I made $12 cash on the return. And look here. So this is awesome. So I'm back here and I have a $15 streak that, you know, I can take a little break here and now I can go back online and continue my streak. So now we're back in business. Now I don't know why the little blue box has disappeared. I'm kind of confused on that, but I'm still in the streak zone, or I'm close to it. And we're just going to wait on another ride. Got one of my private clients here. I'll message her in a minute. So I got to talk to y'all about my private rides. I'll have to make another video about that. Because let me tell you, I just started my own, I got my LLC started, got my business cards, started advertising on Yelp. And since I've launched, which was about 2.5 weeks ago, I've made probably close to $500 or more on private rides just in those 2.5 weeks. And I just started, just now getting the word out. I mean, that's awesome, man. Like that is, and once I get the hang of it and get everything sorted, I'm going to be so much more efficient. That is going to be a huge help. You know, it's slow this summer. There's no doubt. It is very slow, but these are the times that try men's souls. These are the times that try men's souls. So you're going to be tested during this time. Are you going to pass the test or are you going to crawl in a corner and cry? This is where you grow. These are the seasons. These are the seasons of growth. When everything's easy, when you just turn the app on and there's bonuses and surges and tips just flowing in, a blind monkey could do Uber, you know? It's not that hard to make money, but in this environment, there's money out there. You just have to work a little, I wouldn't even say harder, but you got to think and work more strategically. You just got to be smart. And I'm not sitting here saying that I know everything. I certainly don't. And I want to hear from y'all what works in your market, what I could do better. You know, are you seeing things on my screen that are like, dude, don't do that, or dude, do this? I'm open to that, but I'm trying. I'm thinking. I'm moving. I'm not just sitting still and crying and waiting for somebody to come save me. You are the answer to your prayers. You have the ability, you have the know-how to do this. So it's just a matter of getting the job done. So I've been sitting at this 7-Eleven. Nothing is biting. So I'm actually going to get a little bit further down the road. Just going to go down, what am I on, Gaston? Just going to go down Gaston here. Heading towards this hospital. I sure do hope I don't get some nasty patient wanting to go to Timbuktu. You know Lyft would love to do that right now. Screw up my $15 streak and take away that reservation. I mean, they really don't want me to, man. So I'm going to try to get out of here, but there's really no way around it. I've got to go this way. Matter of fact, I might just turn down Washington here. Turn down Washington and head towards Lemon, which is more the uptown area. And hope that there's some rides up here. Probably going to call it quits in here in a couple hours. There's an 11 o'clock showing of Mission Impossible that I would really like to go see. So we shall see. Actually, probably not going to make that because the reservation's at 10:30. So I won't make the 11 o'clock, but it's all right. And if I don't see the movie today, it doesn't matter. It'll be in the movie theaters. I mean, gosh, that Tom Cruise movie, what was it? Top Gun? That was in movie theaters for 5 months. I mean, I'm just spitballing, but that sounds right. That sure does sound right. It was out there a long time. It was out there a long time. All right, everybody. There's somebody out here that needs a ride. It's a short little banger. There's somebody out here that needs a ride. You know, I'm going to get my setup. I hope to get a GoPro at some point and be able to film exterior shots too. Although I do kind of like this screen grab setup here. But man, there's some great views of downtown Dallas that I wish you could see, especially in this morning sun. Skyscrapers glimmering. It's not really teeming with people yet, but there is no doubt. Dallas has an iconic skyline. And it's even better at night, man. If I get some night shots or early morning while it's still dark, shots of Dallas, that would be nice. That's just pretty to look at. like a work of art. All right, that is a terrible trip, but we're gonna have to take it because I want to keep this thing. Good golly, Miss Molly. That is awful. That is awful. Oh, well, here we go. Please reroute me. Please reroute me. This is terrible. Well, Lyft, you got me. You got me, Lyft. But, hey, once you factor in the bonus, this is going to be about $1 per mile. So we'll just call it a somewhat success. A somewhat success. Take that. And he is way down in the ghetto. Way down there. But it's daylight, early morning. Hopefully the gangster disciples or whoever's down there, hopefully they're still in bed. They're probably just ordering from Uber Eats right about now. That's all right. I'm going to pick up Frank. Frank's going to be a cool dude. I can feel it. He's got a 4.9, which is in my market. And by the way, in your markets, like what's a normal rating? That's an interesting subject because here in Texas, here in Dallas at least, everybody and their brother has got a 5.0 rating. I mean, it's really hard to get less than 5. You occasionally see 4.9, but if it's below 4.9, I almost never take it. Now, there have been times, especially at airports, where I've picked up people that were less than 4.9. But guess what? 9 times out of 10, they're from New Jersey or New York or Boston or something like that up in the Northeast. And I pick them up, and they're great people. They're nice. They're courteous. They tip. I mean, sometimes, and they're fine. And I'm thinking, how do you have such a low rating? And sometimes I'll talk to them about it, and I think I've discovered that I think Lyft drivers and Uber drivers up there are just meaner, just more harsh. It's like almost out of principle. They're not going to give you 5 stars. I don't know what does the rider have to give you a back rub? I mean, do they have to give you a back rub to get 5 stars? I mean, I don't know. It's just so they just automatically get 4 stars and lower. I mean, man, if y'all drive up there, tell me how it is or what your thinking is behind that because some of these riders got some low ratings and they'll tell me like, hey, thank you so much for picking me up because I've been sitting here waiting. And it's because these drivers here in Texas, are trained to not pick people up with that low of rating. I mean, that's a warning sign. And so, everybody just passes over their trip and doesn't take it. And then I'm dumb enough to take it, and I end up getting a good tip out of it because nobody would pick them up. So we got some construction going on here, so this is going to be a mess. Let's see if I can make this turn. Metropolitan. So looks like Lyft's not going to reroute me. And by the way, I haven't noticed that lately. But back to that subject of ratings. And I think the thing is here, Texas being a southern state, I think people here are kind of just almost too nice. I always hear that from people who have moved here or have visited for a while. They always make that comment to me, like, man, Texans are so nice. Everyone's so nice. And I get that. Texans are very open-hearted and easygoing. But, I think sometimes we might take nice to a whole other level. Like, we put up with stuff from riders that we shouldn't, you know, and and so I think there's probably a lot of riders that shouldn't have a 5.0, but they do because drivers are just, too nice. They're just like, oh, bless your heart, must be having a rough day, and they don't really pay the consequences of having a low rating. So, and vice versa. I mean, I've been in some Lyfts or Ubers where the driver had a pretty high rating and it was not good. I mean, and I think I'm a little bit harsh on Uber drivers because I hold myself to a high standard. So, but I mean, if your driving is sucky and your car stinks and the music is bad or whatever, I don't like putting up with that crap. So, I just think maybe down here we're just too nice. Speaking of, let me message this passenger. No, I'm almost there. That way he'll be out on the curb. Looks like he already is. I do not come down to this area of Dallas very much. So, Frank, Lyft got me. Lyft got me. Look at that. He's already messaged me. No problem. Thank you. Look at that. Frank is on the ball. He is ready to go. He's sporting a 4.9. I have a feeling he's going to be a nice guy, but he might stink. Maybe that's why he has a 4.9. Because I definitely have given some low ratings to people that got in my car and just stunk. And I know some people are going through some stuff, and that's just, they don't, maybe they can't control some of that, but, give me some warning or something. I don't know. Or apologize. If I stunk and I got in someone's car, I would say, hey, man, I am so sorry. I've been out shopping. I got a little sweat on me and dried, and I'm just a little stinky. If you want to roll down the window, you can roll down the window. And then I'd throw them a 20 piece, and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry about that. Take care. Have a blessed day. Like I would go out of my way to kind of be considerate, knowing that I kind of maybe even the possibility that I may have stunk up his car, for that little short distance, something just to accommodate. But, people don't have that mindfulness, that thoughtfulness no more. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Frank seems like a cool dude so far. All right, I'll check back in. All right, so I just dropped off Frank. Frank was a cool dude, man. He was at some looked like a church or something or ministry, and picked him up and took him to the Alamo Draft House here downtown. He works here at the movie theater, and he was a cool dude. We talked about movies, we talked about his job, we talked about the Indiana Jones controversy about how terrible it is. And so he's a cool dude. So I got two in my street. I'm in downtown. I'm actually really close to the convention center, and I'm kind of curious if I go there, if I go to, let's just see what's going on at the convention center. Let's see what's going on. Because sometimes, I'm normally not around here at this time on Saturdays, and I mean, I guess there's stuff going on at the convention center. Wouldn't there, on weekends? Maybe not. I don't know. We shall find out. So, I got this reservation going, cooking in the background. 10:30. I think they can give me one more ride. I think they can give me one. So let's go to, where's my Uber? Go to Uber. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's happening. Looks like absolutely nothing. Nothing is going on. We don't even have the gay grayness. Let's see what's going on at the airport. Look at that. 8 flights, 25 cars. Going to be there a while. Now that is going to be a gold mine. And guess where I'm heading to? I'm heading right there in about 1 hour. So let's see what flights are. But I'm doing it on Lyft, so 170. Yeah, they'll be coming out. Yeah, yeah. This might be good. This might be good. Let's go to Lyft. Let's see. Are they throwing on a surge? They got one there. Yeah, 25. Not bad. Yeah, we might. Looks like somebody just tipped me. Attaboy, Frank. Attaboy. See, I took a calculated risk there with that trip. You saw me. You saw me not be too excited about it. But sometimes you got to go outside your comfort zone a little bit to discover diamonds in the rough or what you think is not there, And you'll be surprised sometimes. This universe is pretty big, pretty full of interesting people and interesting conversations, and sometimes you got to go off the beaten path to get there. Now, follow your instinct and don't do anything stupid. So, I'm not sitting here saying ignore that little voice telling you, like, hey, I don't feel good about this. But I made a calculated risk. It wasn't too dangerous. It's a Saturday morning, it's bright outside. The guy was responsive, ready to go. The traffic wasn't bad, so I could get there pretty quick. And it turned out well. It turned out well. So whether or not I get another ride here or I get, something else, I shall see. I'm going to pull into the Omni Hotel and see if I can take a break. Who knows? Maybe I'll grab a ride out of here. Big old Omni. This place is very iconic here in Dallas. Man, I got good vibes today. Just today's got good things going on, So I just dropped those guys off at the airport. Very nice. Handed me a $10 cash tip. Thank you very much. Heading back home to Atlanta, Gainesville, Georgia, to be precise. And I got a trip coming out of the airport. But it was only going to one of these hotels just north of the airport. I was paying like $5, and I guarantee you it is absolutely dead where it was. So I declined it because look here, there's 17 drivers in the queue, and there is a lot of people coming. So my money is on I'm gonna get a ride here soon. Gambling, but I feel like gambling today. When you put in the hard work earlier in the day to get margin, you can take risks like this. You don't have to be desperate and make dumb decisions. Now, this might be a dumb decision, but I have the margin to make that calculated risk, that gamble. So I'm making the gamble that I'm going to hit better on another ride that gets me maybe back to Dallas. We shall see. I'm also on Uber at the moment. Uber's line is a little bit longer. So let's see what's going on with Uber. Let's check those opportunities. I haven't really been getting notifications on reservations lately. I have to keep, doing this little thing to check. But I did one for him today. Haven't heard anything. shall see. All right, we're going to sit in the queue.